Groovy English Podcast.
Hey there! Welcome back to Groovy English. I'm Chloe.
And I'm Aiden. We share real stories, useful tips, and everyday English to help you grow with confidence.
Wherever you are in your English learning journey, we're glad you're here.
If you're enjoying the podcast, feel free to like, subscribe, or share it with a friend.
Let's get started.
Hello, Groovy English friends. I'm Olivia, and welcome back to another episode where we explore how to make your English learning journey more joyful and effective. Today, we're diving into a powerful mindset that can completely transform the way you learn any language: curiosity. Curiosity is more than just a nice feeling. It's a driving force behind discovery, creativity, and growth. When you're curious, you open yourself up to new experiences and new knowledge without fear or judgment. That openness is exactly what makes curiosity the best teacher you can have. Think about when you were a child. You probably asked why and how hundreds of times a day. That natural hunger to understand the world around you fueled your learning. Sadly, as we grow older, that curiosity can get buried under self-doubt or fear of making mistakes. But here's the good news: you can revive that curious mindset anytime. And when you do, learning English becomes less about drills and memorization and more about fun exploration. Instead of worrying about being perfect, you focus on discovering meaning and connections. Curiosity helps you ask questions, and questions lead to answers, and answers lead to more questions. It's an ongoing, dynamic process. Instead of feeling stuck because you don't know something, curiosity gives you the motivation to find out. Imagine you hear a new English word or phrase. Instead of skipping over it, curiosity pushes you to pause and wonder, what does this mean? How is it used? Can I try it out in a sentence? This simple habit turns passive exposure into active learning. Curiosity also helps you embrace mistakes. When you're curious, errors become clues, not failures. You start thinking, why did I say it that way? What can I do differently next time? That's a huge mindset shift that makes learning faster and more enjoyable. One way to cultivate curiosity is by following your interests. If you love cooking, watch cooking shows in English, read recipes, or learn food vocabulary. If you like sports, listen to sports podcasts or follow news in English. When learning connects to your passions, it becomes natural and exciting. Another curiosity booster is to ask what-if questions. What if I try this new phrase? What if I use English in a different way? What if I speak with a different accent? These questions break old habits and spark creative learning paths. Curiosity also encourages you to explore culture, and language and culture are deeply connected. When you get curious about English-speaking countries' customs, holidays, or jokes, you understand the language more deeply and remember it better. Try to keep a language journal where you write down questions that come up during your day. Maybe you wonder why English has so many irregular verbs, or why a phrase sounds funny. Later, research the answers or ask a teacher or friend. That habit keeps your curiosity alive. Curiosity invites you to experiment with language. Instead of sticking only to textbooks, try mixing things up. Watch movies, listen to songs, read comics, or play word games. Each new format reveals English in a fresh way and sparks your interest. When you're curious, you also become more patient with yourself. Learning a language is a process, sometimes slow and confusing. Curiosity helps you see this as a fascinating puzzle rather than a frustrating obstacle. Curious learners tend to be more independent. Instead of waiting for someone to teach you everything, you seek out answers and practice opportunities yourself. This proactive attitude leads to faster progress and greater confidence. Curiosity makes learning social and interactive. When you ask questions during conversations, you invite others to share their knowledge and stories. This creates richer, more meaningful connections and improves your listening and speaking skills. If you want to boost your curiosity, try setting small daily challenges. For example, learn one new word and ask yourself 3 questions about it. Or watch a short video and wonder about the expressions used. These little sparks keep your brain engaged. Remember, curiosity isn't just about intellectual learning. It's about emotional engagement too. When you care about what you're learning and feel excited, your brain forms stronger memories. That's why curiosity is such a powerful teacher. One of my favorite tips is to embrace the unknown. Instead of avoiding difficult words or confusing grammar, lean in and say, "I don't understand this yet, but I will." That mindset keeps you moving forward instead of getting stuck. Curiosity fuels creativity, which is essential when you're learning a new language. When you get curious, you start to play with words, phrases, and expressions. You imagine how they might sound in different situations, and this experimentation helps you remember and use language more flexibly. Have you ever noticed how kids learn language so fast? It's not because they're forced to memorize grammar rules, but because they're naturally curious. They listen, they mimic, they ask endless questions, and they're not afraid to make mistakes. This childlike curiosity is a powerful model for us adult learners. One way to bring more curiosity into your English study is to notice your surroundings and wonder about how to describe them in English. What's the color of the sky today? What sounds do you hear? Asking yourself these small questions turns ordinary moments into language practice opportunities. Curiosity can also help you overcome boredom. If you feel stuck or tired of the same routine, simply change your approach and follow a new interest. If you usually read news articles, try listening to a podcast about a topic you love. If you watch TV series, switch to documentaries or comedy shows. Another curiosity tip is to dig deeper when you encounter new vocabulary. Don't just write down a word and forget it. Ask yourself, what other words are related to this? Are there synonyms or opposites? Can I find an example sentence? This kind of investigation makes learning more meaningful. Curiosity often leads to storytelling, which is a fantastic way to practice English. When you feel curious about your own experiences or others, you start telling stories naturally. Storytelling helps you organize your thoughts, use past tense, and connect ideas in a coherent way. Also, curiosity can inspire you to learn about English idioms and expressions, those colorful phrases that often confuse learners. Instead of avoiding them, get curious about their meanings and origins. For example, why do we say break the ice or kick the bucket? These stories make English come alive. Have you tried learning English through games or puzzles? Curiosity makes this approach even more effective. When you're curious about solving a puzzle or winning a game, your brain is fully engaged, and that engagement accelerates learning. Curiosity also helps with pronunciation practice. Instead of mechanically repeating sounds, you might get curious about how your mouth moves to make certain sounds or why some sounds don't exist in your native language. This exploration leads to better awareness and faster improvement. One of the best things about curiosity is that it turns learning into a lifelong journey. When you're curious, you never really finish learning English. There's always something new to discover, and that mindset keeps you motivated long after formal classes end. Curiosity encourages you to seek out different perspectives. Maybe you'll watch English content from different countries, British, American, Australian, or others, and get curious about the differences in accents, slang, and expressions. This broadens your understanding and appreciation of English diversity. If you get stuck, use curiosity to ask why and how questions. Why do English verbs change like this? How do native speakers use this phrase in daily life? These questions open doors to deeper learning and help you solve problems yourself rather than waiting for answers. Curiosity also inspires you to connect English learning with your personal goals. For example, if you want to travel, you might get curious about travel-related vocabulary and conversations. If you want to work in an international company, you might explore business English. Aligning curiosity with your goals makes learning relevant and fun. Sometimes, curiosity pushes you to step out of your comfort zone. You might try joining an English conversation club, attending a workshop, or even chatting with strangers online. That willingness to explore new situations creates powerful learning experiences. Curious learners tend to develop better memory skills because curiosity activates the brain's reward system. When you're curious, your brain releases dopamine, which helps you remember information more effectively. So curiosity isn't just motivation, it physically enhances your brain's ability to learn. One way to cultivate curiosity is to adopt a beginner's mindset every day. Even if you know a lot of English, approach each conversation or lesson as if you're discovering something new. This keeps your mind fresh and open. Curiosity is also linked to resilience. When you're curious, you're more likely to bounce back from setbacks because you view mistakes as interesting puzzles rather than failures. This resilience is essential for sustained progress in English. If you want to spark curiosity, try using language learning apps that gamify the experience. Many of them reward exploration, discovery, and problem solving, making the learning process playful and motivating. Another way to keep curiosity alive is to change your learning environment. Sometimes a change of scenery, like studying in a park or cafe, sparks new ideas and perspectives that keep you engaged. Curiosity also helps you embrace accents and dialects. Instead of avoiding unfamiliar accents, get curious about them. Try to imitate them, learn regional expressions, and enjoy the rich variety of English around the world. When you're curious, you're more likely to listen actively in conversations. Instead of just waiting for your turn to speak, you genuinely want to understand what others say. Active listening improves comprehension and makes conversations more rewarding. Curiosity helps you discover your own learning style. Maybe you're more visual and love videos, or maybe you're an auditory learner who benefits from podcasts and music. Exploring different methods keeps learning exciting and tailored to you. Have you ever kept a question notebook? Whenever you encounter something new or confusing, jot it down. Later, research your questions or ask a teacher. This habit feeds your curiosity and builds a personalized learning roadmap. Curiosity allows you to appreciate the beauty of the English language, its poetry, humor, and complexity. When you look beyond just utility and grammar, you start enjoying the language as an art form, which deepens your engagement. Sometimes, curiosity can be sparked by simply being kind to yourself. When you forgive yourself for mistakes and see learning as a joyful process, you naturally become more curious and open to new experiences. Curiosity is contagious. When you show genuine interest in others' stories and cultures, they respond warmly and share more with you. This creates deeper friendships and more authentic practice opportunities. Try to balance curiosity with focus. While exploring new topics is great, also dedicate time to deepen your knowledge in areas important to you. This balance keeps your learning both broad and meaningful. Never underestimate the power of wonder. Sometimes, just marveling at how a phrase sounds or how words fit together opens a world of joy. That wonder fuels your curiosity and makes English learning a lifelong, groovy adventure. Curiosity not only helps you learn faster, but also makes the process much more enjoyable. When you're genuinely interested in discovering something new, studying English stops feeling like a task and starts feeling like a fun exploration. This positive feeling keeps you motivated over the long term. One of the best things about curiosity is that it encourages you to make connections between ideas. When you learn a new word or phrase, curiosity drives you to find how it relates to words you already know or how it fits into your daily life. This web of connections strengthens your memory and understanding. Curiosity also pushes you to use English in creative ways. You might try inventing new sentences, writing short stories, or even composing poems with the vocabulary you're learning. This creative practice helps you internalize language patterns and express yourself uniquely. If you ever feel stuck or bored with your usual learning methods, curiosity can be your way out. It inspires you to try new approaches, maybe switching from reading to watching videos or from textbooks to conversations with native speakers. This fresh variety keeps your brain engaged. Another great way to foster curiosity is to explore the stories behind words. Many English words have fascinating origins and histories. For example, did you know the word salary comes from the Latin word for salt because Roman soldiers were paid with salt? Exploring these stories makes vocabulary more memorable. Curiosity can also help you develop better critical thinking skills. When you ask why and how questions about English grammar, usage, or pronunciation, you train yourself to analyze language deeply. This kind of thinking helps you learn more efficiently and remember better. Sometimes, curiosity takes you outside of just learning English and into learning about the world. When you read news articles, watch documentaries, or listen to podcasts in English, you're not only practicing language, you're expanding your knowledge about history, science, culture, and more. The wonderful thing about curiosity is that it's contagious. When you show interest and ask questions, people naturally respond positively and want to help you. This creates a positive cycle where your curiosity opens doors to conversations and new learning opportunities. When you're curious, you become more resilient to frustration. Instead of giving up when something is difficult or confusing, your natural desire to understand pushes you to keep trying. This persistence is essential for language learners because progress often comes in small, steady steps. Curiosity also encourages you to explore English in context. Instead of memorizing isolated vocabulary lists, you learn words and phrases as part of real conversations, stories, or situations. This context helps you understand how language really works and when to use different expressions. One of my favorite habits to boost curiosity is to follow your questions wherever they lead. If you hear a new word or expression you don't understand, don't just skip it. Look it up. Try to find examples and experiment using it yourself. This habit turns every learning moment into an adventure. Curiosity is also a key ingredient in self-directed learning. When you feel curious, you take control of your language journey, choosing what to study, when, and how. This sense of ownership makes your learning more effective because it aligns with your personal interests and goals. If you want to deepen your curiosity, try learning with others. Join clubs, classes, or online communities where you can ask questions, share discoveries, and discuss ideas. Being part of a curious community fuels your own curiosity and keeps you inspired. Another way curiosity shows up in language learning is through cultural exploration. When you're curious about English-speaking cultures, their traditions, humor, music, and everyday life, you gain a richer understanding of the language and its nuances. This cultural insight makes your English more natural and meaningful. Curiosity also helps you become a better listener. Instead of waiting for your turn to speak, you genuinely want to understand the other person's message, tone, and intention. This deep listening improves your comprehension and helps you respond more thoughtfully. Have you ever noticed how curious people tend to ask a lot of questions? Developing this habit in English conversations not only shows your interest, but also gives you valuable practice. Asking questions helps keep the conversation flowing and makes speaking less intimidating. Curiosity encourages you to embrace ambiguity. Sometimes, you might hear a phrase or idiom you don't fully understand right away. Instead of getting frustrated, you stay curious and keep exploring until it clicks. This patience is a powerful skill in language learning. The beauty of curiosity is that it grows the more you use it. The more questions you ask, the more you learn and the more you want to know. This positive feedback loop creates a joyful learning experience that keeps you coming back to English every day. Your curious mindset can also help you develop empathy. When you're curious about other people's backgrounds, perspectives, and ways of speaking, you become more understanding and patient. This empathy enriches your conversations and relationships in English and beyond. Curiosity is about mindset. It's about choosing to see every learning moment as an opportunity to discover something new, rather than a test you have to pass. When you adopt this mindset, learning English becomes a lifelong, exciting adventure, one full of surprises and growth. Being curious also helps you overcome fear. When you focus on exploring and learning, you forget about making mistakes or being judged. The joy of discovery replaces anxiety, making speaking and writing in English easier and more natural. Curiosity also helps you stay flexible and open-minded. When you're curious, you're less likely to get stuck on one right way of saying something. Instead, you explore different expressions, tones, and styles, which makes your English more adaptable and authentic. Sometimes, curiosity leads to surprising discoveries. Maybe you'll find a new favorite author, a catchy song, or an interesting podcast episode that you wouldn't have tried otherwise. These discoveries keep your learning fresh and exciting. Curiosity encourages you to celebrate small wins. Every new word you understand, every conversation you complete, every phrase you use correctly is a victory. When you're curious, you notice and appreciate these moments instead of rushing past them. One way to boost your curiosity is to create a question of the day. It can be about anything, a grammar point, an English slang word, or even a cultural habit. Spend a few minutes researching or asking about it. This daily curiosity ritual builds momentum and keeps your brain active. Curiosity also helps you avoid burnout. Learning a language can sometimes feel overwhelming, but when you focus on exploring and discovering, it feels more like a game or a puzzle. This playful attitude makes you want to keep going. It's also worth noting that curiosity makes you more confident. When you approach conversations with genuine interest, you shift the focus away from worrying about mistakes to engaging with others. This reduces anxiety and opens up more opportunities to speak. Curiosity invites you to embrace imperfection. When you're curious, mistakes aren't scary. They're clues that help you understand what to try next. This attitude helps you practice more freely and naturally. Try to use curiosity as a filter for what you learn. Instead of forcing yourself through boring materials, choose topics and formats that spark your interest. This personal connection makes learning stick and keeps you motivated. Curiosity also makes feedback easier to handle. When you view corrections as answers to your questions, rather than criticism, you become more open to improving. This openness accelerates your progress and builds your confidence. Remember that curiosity is a lifelong companion. Even when you reach advanced levels of English, curiosity pushes you to explore new words, new cultures, and new ideas. It keeps your language skills alive and growing, making learning a never-ending adventure. Finally, curiosity transforms English learning from a chore into an adventure. Every new word, phrase, or conversation is an opportunity to discover something new about the language and yourself. So, nurture your curiosity and let it guide your journey. Thank you for listening to Groovy English today. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend who might need a little extra motivation to stay curious in their language learning. Until next time, keep it groovy, keep it curious, and keep exploring English every day.
Your English is shining brighter by the minute. Hit that next video to keep leveling up your skills. Or dive into our other episodes for more secrets to talk like a pro. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to join the Groovy English crew.